This was CNBC's live blog tracking developments on the Israel-Hamas war on October 14. Click here for the latest updates. Israel's military continued to urge residents to move from northern Gaza to the south as it pledged to counter Hamas with an even greater force. The Israel Defense Forces said it would not carry out any military operations along the evacuation route from 10 a.m. local time, 3 a.m. Eastern Time, to 1 p.m. Sunday. The evacuation orders have been criticized by many humanitarian agencies, however. The United Nations Relief Agency in the area, UNRWA, warned that fresh water is running out in Gaza, putting 2 million people at risk. The UNRWA called on Israeli authorities to protect civilians, including those at its shelters in northern Gaza and Gaza City who are unable to flee. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Sunday before departing Riyadh. The top U.S. diplomat is expected to land in Egypt later in the day and work on a deal to grant safe passage of Americans currently in Gaza through the Rafah Gate, the only crossing between Egypt and the Gaza Strip. Gaza, a narrow strip of land sandwiched between Egypt, Israel and the Mediterranean Sea, has been pounded by Israeli forces in response to Hamas' brutal attack on Israel last weekend. The death toll continues to tick higher, with at least 1,300 killed in Israel and 2,300 in Gaza. Israel Defense Forces said Sunday in a message addressed to residents of Gaza City and northern Gaza that it won't carry out any military operations from 10 a.m. local time, 3 a.m. Eastern Time, to 1 p.m., renewing its call for people to move southward. Residents of Gaza City and northern Gaza, in the past days, we've urged you to relocate to the southern area for your safety. We want to inform you that the IDF will not carry out any operations along this route from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the IDF said in a post via X, formerly known as Twitter. Your safety and that of your families matters. Please follow our instructions and head southward, it added. The United Nations has criticized Israel's military for issuing an evacuation order to 1.1 million people in northern Gaza, saying it is impossible for such a movement to take place without devastating humanitarian consequences. More than 2,300 people have been killed and another 9,000 injured in Gaza, according to the local health ministry's latest update. In Israel, at least 1,300 have been killed and 3,300 wounded, according to public broadcaster Khan. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is set to meet with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Riyadh at 7:30 a.m. local time, 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time, a U.S. official said. The meeting comes as Blinken is scheduled to depart for Egypt later in the day, where he is expected to discuss a tentative agreement to grant Americans in Gaza safe passage through the Rafah border crossing.